We had yesterday on the radio award-winning director, TV host, former head of the Screen Actors Guild, movie star, Ed Asner, who's a very credible individual. You may not agree with his politics sometimes. Nobody agrees with everything. But he is a guy that doesn't make stuff up. In fact, I've been so busy, I'm supposed to call the Navy SEALs today. I got the number last night. He even gave me the names and numbers of the folks. And some of them are current, some of them are former Navy SEALs that I myself have also been talking to, who question what happened, of course, with the death of the SEALs that were part of the fake bin Laden raid, being packed on that helicopter and blown up. But his Navy SEAL sources, again, that we're getting in contact with, told him that a false flag event, internationally but also domestically possibly, to be blamed on Iran to get us into this new war is imminent. And when you have the main national security advisor, as we covered last week, Mr. Clapper, openly writing for the Brookings Institute that a provocation, a staged provocation is needed, kind of like when the neocons wrote the PNAC documents saying a new 9/11, Pearl Harbor type event was needed. It's very, very creepy. Asner said it is up to the American people to recognize and prevent an imminent false flag operation and stop another disastrous war before it gets started. He said the Navy SEALs are now coming forward because they are worried that an Iran false flag attack runs the danger of creating a worldwide conflict if it gets out of hand. And it's been the military for the last 5 years that continues to stop this war with Iran that Russia and China say they're going to get involved in. And don't forget, Pulitzer Prize winner Cy Hirsch came out 5 years ago, well, it came out 4 years ago, right when Cheney was leaving office, and said that a year before, so a total of 5 years ago, that, then this is teleprompter free, so I'm always going from memory here. You can look it up for yourself. It's not like the info babe or whatever, just all slickly reading off a teleprompter. This is real data. He wrote in New Yorker magazine and gave a speech at a university, Cy Hirsch did, saying that his White House sources told him Dick Cheney tried to order the SEALs and the Navy to paint up U.S. ships like Iranian patrol boats and have them attack destroyers. But Admiral Fox Fallon, we now know, said no to that. And Admiral Mullen, the former head of CENTCOM, and then later the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff itself, went to Israel a few years ago and told them, don't stage a USS Liberty like you did attacking our ship to get us into a new war. So there's some background and some history on that huge story that's up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Continuing, Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting has the headline, Do TV Networks Practice for War? I remember seeing a documentary a decade ago, about 20 years ago, when they launched the first Gulf War, when CBS and ABC, and it had all the clips in the documentary that I saw on PBS that aired a decade after the Gulf War, where they were drilling and preparing and had Dan Rather and others scripting and rehearsing how they would cover the news once the war was started, and they were working with the Pentagon. And so Alexander Cockburn in Counterpunch reports that he was visiting ABC News the other day to see a friend who works in graphics. When I went to his room, he showed me all the graphics he was working on in anticipation of Israeli attack on Iran. Not just maps, but flight patterns, trajectories of 3D models, U.S. aircraft carrier fleets, and more. And it just goes through all of that. So, yes, it's all highly, highly scripted. Continuing, I saw a report a few days ago where the High Court in England has ruled that one of the heads of the global Rothschild family that's very secretive about their wealth, but it's estimated to be around 300 trillion leveraged of different derivatives and things they've sold the world population. 300 trillion, you heard me right. When you hear about Bill Gates being the richest guy, give me a break, he's nothing. I've seen Financial Times of London articles years ago that whenever they bust a Russian oligarch, and he's supposedly worth 20 billion bucks or whatever, they find out he's a total front owning nothing, and you guessed it, works for the Rothschilds. So this is nothing new. This has been in major British papers. But when the Mail online and the Daily Mail newspaper did a report on the fact that this particular Rothschild was hanging out with Lord Mandelson and the EU Trade Commissioner and was taking them around the world, getting them sweetheart deals so that he would reportedly get sweetheart deals for himself. He sued the Daily Mail for saying that he was, quote, a puppet master. I mean, the Rothschilds are the definition of puppet masters. And they've gotten really good about hiding their wealth in the last 100 years. They were a little more conspicuous before that, and that's why they own more palaces and real estate than all of the world's royalty combined. You can go even look on Wikipedia, and it just shows one branch of the family has over 100 giant palaces, okay? And that's just the palaces. They own it all because they have always been able to loan out money that they create out of nothing and leverage a dollar you deposit 10 times. Now they just sell derivatives. But the point is, he sued them over it, saying, I don't puppet master, I don't run anything. I'm not going to Russia and meeting with these people. Well, now the high court has come out and ruled against him because all these photos and things came out of him at meetings at the very facilities that they said he'd been at with Lord Mandelson and others. And here's a quote from the ruling. So far as Lord Mandelson was concerned, the benefit was the trip and the hospitality itself. So far as Mr. Derspiska was concerned, it was a relationship with the EU Trade Commissioner, a businessman with such extensive and global interest as he would be likely to welcome an opportunity to get to know a person in Lord Mandelson's position. The judge said Mr. Rothschild's different and developing accounts of the purpose of the visit to the plants in Siberia were confusing, and the banker had not been entirely candid. I mean, come on, you're not a puppet master when you've got all these trade commissioners under you and you're flying around with them, and it's well known the Rothschilds control every oligarch that's been busted so far. So there's still a few courts that are not completely corrupt. That's what this shows. But again, England has some of the most strict libel laws in the world. So that's why he sued them in England. But there's that report. Defeat of Mandelson's billionaire as judge backs the Mail over story of Rothschild and the Russian oligarch. So there you have that report. Continuing here, as you know, Fukushima has had 5 major meltdowns, huge explosions, makes Chernobyl look tame in comparison. And all over, not just the United States, but Europe, because we're in the northern hemisphere, and the trade winds and jet stream goes from Japan over towards the east. I know you think of Japan, I think of Japan as east, but it goes from Japan east over the Pacific, over North America, over the Atlantic, over Europe, over the Middle East, Central Asia, and then right back over Japan. It's a globe, goes in circles, and so that stuff is just coming over, coming over, coming over. And so different isotopes have gone up a couple 100%, a couple 1,000%. EPA just raised some of the isotope levels that are safe 100,000 times what they were. You can look it up. We've shown you the numbers. EPA is proud of it. They say radiation is no longer an issue. TSA now says because of the new radiation rules being increased that it's fine. They lied and said there wasn't radiation, but now they say, well, they just said it's safe. So there is radiation, but it's good for you. I'm glad the bureaucrats can wave magic wands. I didn't think abracadabra worked like, I'm a trendy bureaucrat, eugenicist, radiation good. And you just go, and then it's just no problem. But you've got to do the trendy face. Trendy. As long as GMO sterilizing all the mice they feed it to, it's all right for us. Trendy. Carbon dioxide evil, radiation good. Trendy. That's enough, Gary. Another Team America quote. We need an actor, Gary. Sorry, what were you saying, Marcos? Exactly. We need an actor, Gary. But again, the bureaucrats say it's fine, and Monbiot and all these big globalists, world government eugenicists have said they're for radiation. He said, Fukushima has made me believe in radiation. In fact, people won't believe it. London Guardian, George Monbiot, top globalist minion pusher, pimp, saying, Fukushima has made me believe in nuclear power. It's like you eat something and you die, then they say, oh, it's good for you. But here's the news. Fukushima reactor temperature surpasses 752 degrees, more than 4 times maximum for cold shutdown. But I don't want to hear about science. They told me months ago everything's handled there. All you've got to do is, again, wave the trendy wand, trendy, and then it handles everything. In other words, the thermometer is showing temperatures more than 4 times higher than 100 degrees Celsius limit for cold shutdown. TEPCO claims that such high reading means the thermometer must be broken, even though there's smoke seen coming out of it. They claimed all those big explosions were no big deal and hadn't breached the containment. Of course, they got caught lying about that as well. But again, doesn't matter because the Japanese government's got what our government's got. They're telling schools nearby, stay open, even though the kids and people are falling down dead and dying. Oh, there's deaths. They just go, don't worry about the fact you're dead. Trendy. That's all you got to do. It's like a little magic wand. You just like, imagine the power. It's like Harry Potter's real. I mean, as long as you're a government, well, oh, I insulted Harry Potter. The pen broke. See, I made fun of a trendy wand. Not trendy. All right, I'm sorry. I mean, the radiation's raining down on us. In '86, for at least 6 months, no food grown in Europe could be eaten, no milk, nothing because of radiation. They just said, nope, ship it in, especially kids with fast-growing cells. You know, kids get affected more by radiation, don't eat it. And now they just go, trendy. I'm sorry. You know, my wand is not powerful enough. I talked about Harry Potter. You saw what happened. Watch this. In 3D. Listen, if I was a government bureaucrat, they're like wizards. I could just go, I can fly, I'm government, and just like fly to the moon. You could have spaceships with like windows in them, not even portals. You don't even need oxygen. It's just like, radiation's good, world government, trendiness. All right. You guys should not laugh at my jokes or I'll do it more. Oh, God. I already taped the interview with Palast earlier. It's a powerful interview, and I really covered some key stuff at the very end of the show and an extended comment after he was on with us. The truth is, the bizarro-ness of them saying high levels of radiation are safe for us gets me very angry, and it's affecting all of us. And I'm still sitting here being bathed in radiation, not moving to the southern hemisphere. So I guess I'm part of it. I just think I can wave a trendy wand and everything's fine. What would be the name? What is the name of Harry Potter's wand? Google that. Is it Tallywhacker? There it is. Oh, my God, a hogwart. It's called a Voltmert, Harry, Hermaphrodite, and a Ron. Okay. My God, think of the power I'd have with one of those. That must be what the EPA has. They've just got a little hogwart wand, better than my Bic pen. I mean, look at these Bic pens. You get like 20 of them for $1, but you see why. They got little microchips in them so Harry Potter can control them. All right, that's enough. What happened, of course, with the death of the SEALs that were part of the fake bin Laden raid, being packed on that helicopter and blown up. But his Navy SEAL sources, again, that we're getting in contact with, told him that a false flag event, internationally but also domestically. We had yesterday on the radio, award-winning director, TV host, former head of the Screen Actors Guild, movie star, Ed Asner, who's a very credible individual. You may not agree with his politics sometimes. Nobody agrees with everything. But he is a guy that doesn't make stuff up. Possibly to be blamed on Iran to get us into this new war is imminent. And when you have the main national security advisor, as we covered last week, Mr. Clapper, openly writing for the Brookings Institute that a provocation, a staged provocation is needed, kind of like when the neocon up. In fact, I've been so busy, I'm supposed to call the Navy SEALs today. I got the number last night. He even gave me the names and numbers of the folks. And some of them are current, some of them are former Navy SEALs that I myself have also been talking to, who question